Today on Get in the Lab, we're talking about setting up your Dominos. What do I mean by that? Well, we see all of these seemingly overnight success stories on the internet, and then we go, damn, how'd they do that? How'd they line up all these dominoes to create a beautiful crescendo? Plus, we vibe on performance and another update on the niche site experiment. More on that in 3, 2, 1. Plato said, know thyself. It's not always easy, but it is necessary. This is Get in the Lab. Welcome back to the lab. My name is Megan, and I run small little experiments to gain big life, personal goals, and did I tell you about it? So thank you for being here with me today. I really appreciate it. I'm really pumped, really excited that finally, after 10 or so episodes, which is a good run, we're finally on iTunes as an official video podcast. I've been dreaming about this for such a long time and always going like, but you gotta buy it, but it costs money. And you know what? That was my biggest issue right there, was this fear of spending money, fear of investing within my thing. You know, it was almost like if I didn't do this, I really truly didn't believe in what I was doing, and I couldn't confidently own the space that I'm in without making these purchases. And $216 or whatever it is for hosting your show on Podbean is nothing. It's nothing really. And like me and like many of you lab rats are afraid to invest in your shit because perhaps you feel deep down that you really don't believe in what you're selling, and that's a big issue, which we'll discuss in later episodes because I had that issue too. Okay. But anyway, today we're going to talk about setting up your dominoes, okay? So there's this effect, the domino effect, you all heard of that, where you painstakingly set up each one of these dominoes until finally you hit that domino and then they all come crashing down in this beautiful lineup. It's like it's an overnight success, right? And that's basically all any overnight success is, except like viral videos. So we're going to talk about that, all right? But in the last segment, like we do. Okay, so first, right now, we're going to take it back. We're going to bring it back. We're going to talk about the lab spotlight. This is where I spotlight somebody else, somebody who's doing good shit out there. And then we take it here. We take it in the lessons on the show and we discuss it. So let's get into it. Let's get into the lab spotlight. All right. So, very cool. A number of people approached me after my talk at Podcast Movement. Thank you so much for coming out. That was an incredible surprise because I didn't really promote it the way that Jared easily wanted me to, because I felt like, again, feeling that self-doubt and just like, if anybody comes and they come, and, you know, just being really passive about it. But anyway, I'm totally glad that people showed up and asked me questions. And one of those questions was, I wrote it down here so I wouldn't forget. He said, I dig what you're saying and I know video is powerful, but I'm not like you. You know, I'm not great in front of the camera. I'm not natural. I'm not charismatic like you. And maybe I'm putting in words or leaving out words of what he said, but that was basically the gist. And I said, look, buddy, and this is something I want to share with you guys as well. My first video, which I can't even find right now. Like, I was so embarrassed that I think I deleted it, but I have similar ones like it where I was completely uncharismatic, completely not myself, put on too much makeup, and just trying to appear to be somebody else, trying to emulate somebody else, or embody the thing that I thought I was supposed to be if I was shooting a video and trying to act all professional and stuff. I would wear these collared shirts, right? And I would get really hot in them and they'd be really tight because I haven't worn them in like my last job interview. And it was really terrible. This was back in like 2012. When I first started creating content online in YouTube, making video content. And I said, it's a practice, man. It's a daily practice. So I want to highlight this person because that was me asking the same question. It's probably you asking that same question. I'm not charismatic. I'm not natural like you are. You guys never believe me when you meet me in real person and say, and then you go, you're not an introvert. I'll tell you I'm an introvert. I will tell you straight up to your face, I'm an introvert. And I still am. But there's a switch that I turn on that I think every introvert has, because we, like I said in the previous episode when I had a whole podcast movement rundown, we see the people who do it well, right? Like Gary Vaynerchuk, always in the forefront of my mind, that performer in him. It just makes me light up. And that's something I always try to let that energy come into me and then manifest into what you guys see on the show. But there's always a performer inside of you, I believe, in every introvert. We yearn to be that person who makes it look so easy. I certainly do. I still do. This has all been since 2012, day in, day out, making content, making really terrible content, making some good, but not, having it be seen, and just keeping at it. It's a daily practice. It's being inspired and influenced by what you see in the media and what you surround yourself with, and then twisting it, tweaking it, molding it into your own thing, which I always say is not really becoming somebody, but shedding the layers of the stuff that you've learned throughout the years, the bad habits that we've picked up for the 28, 29, and so on years that we've been on this earth, whatever. You have to give yourself the chance to evolve, and it's sometimes devolve, like shed those layers, shed those bad habits, old lessons, old weaker selves, and be reborn into this stronger version of yourself. And so if people think that I am charismatic, natural on camera, that is great. That's great. That really gives me a high five, because I have worked at it. I have been self-aware about my social awkwardness, I believe, since I was like 5. Always had one friend. Always had one friend in school. I had one friend. It was a dude. And I would just cling to that person because I didn't know how to be around people. I was just extremely awkward, extremely lonerish, and I kind of reveled in it, but at the same time it was like I do want to have more friends than one. I do want to be liked. I do want to be connected, and that's something that no matter what your label is, introvert, extrovert, all these stupid labels, you do want to be connected because you're a human being. That's just what we do, okay? So it's a practice, guys. And if you want to be better on camera, then you need to make videos. That's it. That's really it. That's all there is to it. If you want to sound better on the mic, then you need to straight up start podcasting, right? Or record something, okay? If you want to be a better interviewer, then you need to book some freaking interviews. All right, that's it. It's practice. And like, my friend Kimanzi has been putting out a lot of great video content. You should check him out. I'll leave that link in the description. But he says it so well. He says it so well that he wakes up every single day. He freaking works from like 6 a.m, which is cool. I'm a morning person too. I hustle like right when I wake up before anybody else is awake. And he just put in that daily engagement with his audience, building it day by day, one by one, setting up those dominoes, right? So I want to applaud that person for asking that. That's a very common question, but I think it's something that needs to be said. We need to remind ourselves, because I can always fall in that loop and compare myself to somebody else who is way more natural, who was born for the spotlight, right? They were born for the spotlight, and it just comes so easily. And then you come on and you try to do your thing, right? So I get it. I get that struggle. But like I said in the previous episode, make that content for you. You know that you're getting better because you know you're going to put one out next week and the next week and the next week, one by one, domino. Okay. So next segment. All right, segment 2, in the second segment. So in the second segment, I always talk about the niche site experiment. So if you didn't know, I created a niche site about 9 episodes ago. And my goal was to create $500 a month with this niche site, monetizing via, affiliate platforms or affiliate programs, videos, stuff like that, mostly through affiliate sales. Okay. So what I'm trying to do right now, I want to update you guys, is I'm guest posting. I tried to write a guest post for hongyat.com. I think either I made them mad, I don't know, whatever. They didn't go for it. All right. I had a little foot in the door, and then I think I messed it up. Now I've been invited to guest post for tech.co. And I think I'm gonna mix it up a little bit. So what I want to do is create an infographic and then create a video explaining this infographic and a little text to support the post. And that way I can drive traffic back to my niche site. And I think tech.co has some really great SEO juice. And since I was invited, I really don't have to worry too much about getting a yes or no. I just have to work on an incredible piece of guest posting content that is worthy enough to pass for tech.co. So that's what I'm doing right now. I want to update you on the passive monies that I've been making. So I just looked at my Amazon associates and I made $25. That's awesome, because the month before that I made 14. The month before that I made 8. So we're seeing a very clear progression of making money passively through Amazon affiliates and stuff like that, through that work that I put in through making a video or a post or whatever, linking out to these Amazon affiliate sites and making money. And so the more that I can drive traffic and drive these sales, the more that I can build on this residual income, right? This passive income. It's not really passive. You guys know that, right? It's not really passive. It's working really hard in the beginning and then reaping the benefit later, a la, Pat Flynn, Smart Passive Income. So that's cool, right? That's really cool. That's great progress. I am loving to celebrate that with you guys right now, making actual money and seeing more than just like, you made, 8 cents or whatever, like you would normally see on your YouTube, like total earnings or something. Speaking of YouTube, I think I've made like $10. I just looked at it, about $10 from ads and stuff like that. So that's cool. I mean, it all kind of adds up, little things as I start to drive more people to YouTube and building that fan base there and just building things one by one, setting up those dominoes. All right. So let's get into the last segment. Okay, let's talk about setting up your dominoes. Okay, so this is something that I thought of when I was thinking of what content am I going to put out for this follow-up episode to the one that I launched with, which was the podcast movement rundown in iTunes. And ever since podcast movement in my talk, I've had a little blip of more awareness, some momentum that I've been riding, a little momentum wave. And I want to let you guys know that even though you may be, seeing this new side where it's like, oh, now this person is being talked about more, there's buzz going on about this person, that person, we'll take me as an example, has been doing shit for a long time, right? They've been setting up their dominoes for a long time. And this is something I want you lab rats to understand, which is that's all we're all doing. We're setting up our dominoes, and we cannot get discouraged when one of those dominoes is harder to set up than the others, or you've been setting up dominoes for a long time and you haven't seen any success. Okay. So we're going to talk about just really briefly the dominoes that I believe have led to this type of exposure, where I am right now in my brand. If this is something that you want to model after, I just want to share that and be totally transparent with you. If it helps you, awesome. Okay. So, and we can dive even deeper into these things so that you can see that you don't have to be John Lee Dumas. You don't have to be Pat Flynn. And even Pat Flynn, he's, I meet him in real life all the time at these conferences, and he's still so humble and kind of shy and stuff like that. And that's just really endearing for me, because that's exactly how I feel. It's like two shy people trying to say something to each other. It's really awkward and crazy. But anyway, okay, so we're going to do a little rundown of what I think are the domino of my brand and where I'm at right now, which I don't think is crazy, but it's progress. And that's something that I need to acknowledge, because I think a lot of people will go, yeah, but I'm not so and so. I'm not X or I'm not Y, you know, and it's important to realize the milestones that you hit in your career or in your path or your journey to success. If you don't stop and go, that was good. That was good. I need to take a moment and appreciate that and be really grateful for that. Then you're going to miss it. You know, you're going to miss the ride, and you're going to miss chances and opportunities to help others who are maybe going through those little breaking points. Okay. So we're going to get into that too. Okay. Number 1, I have been creating content online with video since 2012. Like I told you guys that, right? Okay. Number 2, I changed my brand, my message, my content about 100 times. OG lab rats who weren't called lab rats before, who were you know, a part of the audience when I was calling my stuff like the Bells and Bounty Show. Long story. Long story, the Bells and Bounty Show, and then trying to personal brand my name and trying to do so many things at once and changing my message so many times. It was ridiculous, and it kind of came this thing where I was like, I'm changing it again, because I was experimenting and I was finding out I was doing that a lot. I still think I kind of do that still. 3, I've participated in challenges like Veda, right? Bought courses, David Siteman Garland's course, B School's course. What else? What other courses? Another one of David's courses. I've read books, very many books, all of Gary's books, all of Tim's books, Tim Robbins' books, lots of books. Okay. And I just YouTube the shit out of how to make video. Like I told you guys, I'm not a pro in video. Okay. Well, maybe now I'm kind of like a pro, but I don't have any formal training in video. I taught myself how to do all this stuff. Okay. So we're going to take a break and we'll come back with number 4. Okay. Number 4, Domino. All right. I finally made friends. Like, seriously, guys, I told you I was an introvert. I told you I had one friend growing up all the time, and it was a dude, right? That's how I was. And finally, when I finished college, I didn't have any friends from college. I was a complete loner. I just did my work. I just did my thing. I got a corporate job. I made some friends there. I finally started to realize, like, I need to make friends. But I left that job. So then now it was friendless again, right? And it sucks to be friendless in the online entrepreneurship space because, like, you go through some shit, right? So I finally started to reach out, and I remember that very clearly. I've said it on the show before that Carlton Taylor from B School, it was probably the only good thing that came out of B School, said, hey, I'll be your friend. It was so lame. I took a picture of myself and I said, does anybody want to talk about something, right? And then we were able to meet up locally and become really good friends, and now we're still tight. So that catapulted me to go like, hey, people, I can be friends with people. Seriously, guys. It was so embarrassing for me to think back to that time because I had such a hard time making friends. Now it's easy for me to make friends because I know who I am as a person, and if you like that or if you don't like, it's easy. It's easy. So yeah, number 4, finally started to make friends online. Number 5, Domino. I cemented some of those online friendships IRL in real life, right? So that was really awesome. That was a chance because I knew if you were to hang out with me in person, you're going to like me a lot better because there's only so much you can do online before you start. I don't know. It's just, I'm better in person. If you've hung out with me before, maybe you can attest to that. But I think I'm better in person. I can relax a little bit more, obviously, with the camera, with the mic. Online, you have to be more whatever, politically correct, PC, whatever. So I was able to cement some of those friendships in real life. And that did amazing things for the awareness of what I was doing and my message and how I wanted to reach people, because now it's like, it's not just you trying to affect change. Now it's you and you've got people in your corner who believe in you, and it just keeps doing that thing. I mean, like, how did I not know this? Because I was just trying to be a loner and trying to be like, do it myself, and I don't need anybody, and arrogant, very, very arrogant before. And now I feel like I'm just the most humblest being that I can be, that I've ever been in my entire life. And I owe that all to great friends. And this space that we're in, this podcasting space, is incredibly giving, incredibly just well-deserving of respect for the human being, and being grateful for the help that we all give each other. All right. Number six domino. I gave and I gave and I gave and I gave for free until I kind of broke down and was like, dude, I can't keep giving away free shit. Like, I have to start making money. There was this very self-defeating thought in my brain that I cannot continue to call myself an entrepreneur if I don't make money. And I don't know, it just happens, like when you're in a relationship with another entrepreneur. Y'all know that Kevin is an extremely successful entrepreneur. He provides for us. He takes care of us. He allows me to do what I do, right? Because I don't bring in the money that I used to. And so with that kind of always lingering in my mind, that's pressure. That's pressure. But I gave and gave and gave until people would tell me, hey, you're giving away too much. You're giving away too much. Now is the time to start having confidence in what you're doing, charging for the services that you put out, and feeling good about it, like feeling good about selling. And we're going to dive really deep into an episode and dedicate that all about this mentality of selling, this fear of selling and asking for money and deserving what you ask for, okay? Or at least feeling like you deserve what you ask for. All right, so domino number 7, all right? So I got to speak twice this year. This was a big deal. I think this is, and the person who gave me this opportunity, Jared Easley and Dan Franks, who are behind the podcast movement, they gave me this opportunity. They stretched out their hand and said, hey, can you do this? And I said, okay. And then I took that as a challenge. It still makes me very, very anxious. I still have a great aversion to speaking, but I cannot doubt and I cannot ignore the opportunities that come from speaking. It's just, psh, psh, psh. All right. Domino number 8. Okay. This was an issue. I've talked about it a lot before, but getting Kevin to understand what I'm doing and to respect it, I was finally able to do that. That's a whole episode. You could check out those episodes later. I don't want to get into that conversation right now, but it's awesome. It's great. I'm so thankful. But when your partner believes in you when they didn't before, that's crazy powerful. That's a crazy powerful domino that took a while to set up, and sometimes it falls down and you have to go back and put it back up. And that's cool because you're two different people. You're not just dealing with you. You're dealing with you being with somebody else. Okay. Dive into that later. All right. Domino number 9. Okay. I finally started to believe that I deserved people's business. And I think that's the perfect way to phrase it. Like, I deserve it. I've earned it, instead of asking for the sale. Like, for me, I'm not sure why, but I've had this hang up about asking for money. And I have all of these psychological issues about money that, whatever, we can dig into that a little bit later. But after so many people have told me, and not that very many, but after so many people told me, hey, you're not believing in yourself. You need to be more confident. You need to ask for this sale and you deserve it. Right. And I think that was the word that kind of unlocked that thing in my brain that said, I do deserve it. So why don't I start acting like it? Right. And so I don't know. It's a very crazy, weird thing where the switch was just slowly turned on. I was like, oh, and that's all predicated on the work that you put into yourself to finally get over that mental hump, right? So that was domino number 9. And finally, domino number 10. All right. To ride these little momentum spurts. So we just came off of podcast movement, right? We came off of podcast movement. People gave me their business cards, whatever. I talked to you guys about, jotting down some notes on these business cards, not to just put that business card in your pocket. You're going to forget. Okay, jot some notes right there. And then Shannon, my friend Shannon Hernandez from radio, he was like, dude, freaking video response, Twitter it up. You're already doing it. You like that stuff. It's video. It's in your niche, right? Do that and hit them up. Follow up that way, right? Follow up with a video response on Twitter. Nobody's really doing that. I mean, it's there and we kind of forget, and we don't want to take the energy to get the angle right, whatever, or how we look on camera. I get it. I told you guys, doing my hair is like it's the hardest part of setting all this stuff up. But you need to do it. You need to follow through and follow up. Ride that momentum wave that you've generated for yourself. Otherwise, you've set up all these dominoes for yourself, and if you don't follow through, you're tripping over dominoes. The thing looks all messy, no crescendo for you. Okay, so that's all it is, and you keep doing that for however long you want to do it, however long it makes you happy, and living in your purpose that way. But that's what it is for me, guys. It's living in my purpose. I've said this before. It's like podcasting, video podcasting now. I'm with my people, and that means something, So I feel like I'm attaining a big part of the success definition that I set for myself, which is when I ask something of people, they do it kindly. They do it readily. Asking for a rate and review, guys. If I've given you any value in this episode, okay, any value at all, maybe you dig the show, maybe you don't even understand what the hell I'm doing, maybe you just like my hair, maybe you like this watch. Subscribe to the show, okay, on iTunes. You'll find that in the link in the description. And then please leave me your honest, I'm all about the tough love, honest rate and review for the show. That way I know where I'm going and that we're on the same level, okay? We're on the same track. So the follow through, the dominoes that you're setting up right now, if you're not feeling that vibe of success, or you feel like you don't compare to these other people, remember that you're creating content for you. You are consistently creating content for you, and you're putting it out on a consistent basis, getting better and better each time, setting up your dominoes. Okay, because the time will come when maybe you speak, or you go to a conference, or somebody sees your highlight reel, or you have a product, or you have a book. Then it's time to hit that domino and let those dominoes fall, right? So we can create a momentum, a wave for your brand, for your business, for your podcast, your show, whatever. So it can ride that wave of momentum and build that buzz and just get those gears going, right? To make shit happen for you. And that's basically what it is, right? And you keep doing that. You'll have these little moments where things will fall over like this in a good way, right? Fall over in a good way, and things happen for you. And then you set them up again. You keep moving. So that's kind of how I feel right now. I'm very grateful that the engagement that I'm engaging in right now is building towards creating that definition of success that I have for myself, and an engaged fan base, which is what I want. I don't want a huge one. I want an engaged one. Okay. So I feel like in my heart and kind of in my stomach a little bit, it's kind of cool, weird kind of feeling that I'm living in my purpose. And I'm so thankful you guys are here to share with me in that experience. I think that's incredible. This is what I want for you lab rats. And this feeling of connection, we all want it, right? This feeling of connection. So reach out to your people, reach out to me, feel that vibe, and give it back to them tenfold. All right. So that's it for today's episode here. Number 10. That was a lot of fun. Got a little deep there. As I feel like we're going to get pretty deep. We're going to get pretty deep. This is a self-development podcast after all. Finally picked a niche. Who said that the niche wasn't clear, right? Somebody said that. Thank you for doing that. I always think about you now, and I go, I need to pick a niche, right? Niche. So yeah, to sum up, we talked about that lab spotlight, being charismatic, it can be learned. Maybe you're not going to be Gary Vaynerchuk, but you can be the better version of you, delivering your message and your content effectively, entertainingly. Okay, and then we talked about the niche site update, making little monies, little here and there, and that counts, right? And to celebrate small wins, big wins, stuff like that. And then we talked about the domino effect, right? The dominoes that you need to set up in order for your business to ride these waves, these momentum changes within your business that you can make your own overnight success story. Okay, so good things, guys. I really appreciate you spending some time with me today. Like I said, the show is in iTunes. Please subscribe, rate, and review. If you're watching on YouTube, like this video if you did. I really appreciate it. Subscribe to Become a Lab Rat today. And we'll see you next time, all right? Once again, my name is Megan, reminding you to get in the lab. See ya.